At 6:42 in the morning, a phone begins to vibrate on a nightstand. Once, twice, then again. Every call is from the police. Before most of the neighborhood has even stepped outside, patrol cars are already blocking off a quiet stretch of road. Officers are knocking on doors, asking the same question. When was the last time anyone saw her alive? Her bedroom is untouched. Her bed still made. Her social media, once active, has gone completely silent. And just hours earlier, her father had hugged her and told her he loved her.
She left. So I picked her up, she was crying, I kissed her, gave her a hug. I didn't know it was gonna be the last kiss. But I felt good telling her I love her.
I know it's going to be the last kiss, but I felt good telling her I love her. She was 16. This is the story of Tioni Theus, before the freeway, before the headlines.
2 weeks since Theus was killed, and the questions surrounding her death are mounting.
Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez is live in Inglewood. And Christina, what an interview with that father today.
You know, and her father is a very well-known, long-time shop owner here in Inglewood, which is, as far as we know, the last place where she was seen alive by a family member. Watch.
I feel like something was really wrong that night when she came.
You had a feeling?
I begged her to stay. I said, just stay with me. Nobody loved me. Because her mom, she's the only person who loved me was my mom. I said, that's not true. I love you.
Before the unanswered questions. Tioni was born on July 18, 2005, in Los Angeles and raised in Compton by her mother, Teresa. From the beginning, her mother centered her life around her only daughter. The goal was simple: protect her, guide her, keep her focused. Their home life was structured: golf lessons, dance classes, close family time. Stability may not have surrounded them outside, but inside that home, it was intentional. Relatives described her as driven, focused. The youth golf program she attended had a reputation for steering students toward prestigious universities. Her future looked organized, planned, but childhood does not always stay protected. At 7 years old, one of her brothers entered the justice system. At 11, she lost her older brother, Darian Jr., who died at 19. Loss entered early, and loss changes the air in a house. Still, she kept moving forward. Much of that strength seemed tied to the bond she shared with her mother. Even through stress, that closeness remained steady. Then in early 2019, everything shifted. Tioni was 13. She was staying with a cousin and needed house keys that were with her mother at a nearby event. They agreed to meet. When she arrived, she saw her mother lying in the street, struck by a vehicle. A relative later shared that she recognized her mother immediately, identifying familiar belongings while others tried to shield her from the truth. The moment settled in quietly. A child who just needed to get back inside her own home was now standing in the middle of a trauma no 13-year-old is prepared for. Teresa survived, but survival did not mean restoration. The injuries were serious. Extended medical care followed, including time in a rehabilitation facility. Her mother was no longer physically present in the way she once had been. For Tioni, it was a different kind of loss. No funeral, just absence. Her aunt later shared that she often asked if her mother would ever return to how she used to be. There was no clear answer. After the accident, she moved in with her grandparents. Extended family tried to surround her with stability again. But hardship did not pause. Both grandparents were diagnosed with cancer. They eventually became unable to care for her. She spent time moving between relatives. Within a year, both grandparents passed away. At 14, her life had become a rotation of hospital visits and grief. The routine childhood she once had was replaced with instability. Behavior changes followed. She turned to social media more heavily. She posted about loneliness, about sadness. It was public vulnerability. And in online spaces, attention can feel like connection, especially when you are hurting. Eventually, she relocated to Los Angeles to live with her father, Darian Sr. The transition was not smooth. According to him, school attendance declined. Arguments increased. She began staying out late. Sometimes she would run away when rules were enforced. His work schedule included retail shifts and occasional night security jobs. There were gaps in supervision. During those gaps, she sometimes left without permission. Online, her presence shifted. Videos showed her drinking, smoking, attending gatherings. Some posts appeared provocative. To outside viewers, it may have looked like rebellion. Beneath that, it looked more like a teenager searching for validation. She sometimes called her father to pick her up from places she had gone. There were moments when she reached out, but the tension at home remained. By late 2021, direction felt uncertain. On January 7, 2022, she visited her father at work in Inglewood. She told him she planned to attend a gathering. She mentioned someone who had contacted her on Instagram. Details about this person were never fully clarified. Her father later described feeling uneasy that evening. He asked her to stay. She chose to go. He hugged her, told her he loved her. That was the last time he saw her alive.
You got the rich people, and you got the poor people, or middle class people, and we on the other side. You know, if I was a rich person, they probably would have found the killer by now. Who knows? But I think the Highway Patrol, I talked to him. He's a good detective. He said he's doing everything he can.
The case has definitely gotten our attention, and of course, it's top priority, trying to, finalize this case and get justice for the family. So, the difference is obviously we don't have surveillance cameras like, other types of incidents that may be occurring in other areas. So, of course, we rely a lot on the public, right, to call us and, did you see anything?
Investigators and Tioni's father are asking anyone, please come forward.
I can't take it. I don't have no more left in me.
And he says that because he's burying his daughter. 4 years ago, he had to bury his 19-year-old son who was shot when he was leaving work. It's a case that has yet to have any resolution for him. So on our website at Fox LA, perhaps you can give some information to the CHP. The contact numbers are there, and perhaps give this man and this family much-needed resolution, at least in this case. We'll keep you updated on updates. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live in Inglewood. Back to you guys.
After leaving her father's workplace that night, her destination was never firmly established. She had mentioned a party, but she had also been interacting online with older individuals. It remains unclear whether she intended to attend a gathering or meet someone she had connected with through social media. There were no confirmed sightings later that evening. By the next morning, her life had ended. Around 8 a.m. on January 8th, 2022, Los Angeles police received reports of a person lying along the 110 freeway near the Manchester on-ramp by South Figueroa Street. Officers responded and discovered she had died from gunshot wounds. Evidence suggested she had been transported by vehicle and left on the roadway. The victim was identified as Tioni. When authorities informed her father, the impact was devastating. Years earlier, he had lost a son to gun violence. Now his daughter was gone as well. Despite the killing of a 16-year-old, several days passed before local news. Coverage intensified. Family members expressed concern that early investigative momentum appeared limited. As detectives reviewed her recent activity, information surfaced that she had been meeting adult men online and exchanging companionship for money. A teenager cannot legally consent to such arrangements. Responsibility rests with the adults involved. Research consistently shows exploitation often begins through online contact. Trust is built gradually. Attention becomes leverage. For vulnerable teens, those interactions can feel like opportunity instead of danger. 10 days after her death, relatives and supporters gathered for a vigil. They demanded answers. They asked for urgency. A representative from the Los Angeles Police Department addressed the tragedy and acknowledged the wrongness of a life so young being taken and left on a roadway.
Whoever knows what happened needs to say something. It's just as simple as that. She was a human being. She didn't deserve this. And I always say it could be your sister, it could be your cousin, it could be you. If you know what happened and they did it to her, you might be next.
Her body was dumped on the freeway like it was garbage, as if her life didn't matter. But her family and the community know her life did matter.
Community frustration grew. Advocates pointed out that in another recent case, a large financial reward had been assembled quickly after a young professional was killed inside a retail store. They questioned why similar urgency had not followed here. The comparison was not about minimizing one tragedy. It was about equal attention, because every family believes their child deserves urgency. Shortly after the vigil, a press conference was held urging officials to authorize a financial reward. Since her body had been found on state-controlled property, approval required state involvement. On January 26th, officials announced that $115,000 had been allocated for information leading to arrests. Contributions came from the Los Angeles City Council, the State of California, Los Angeles County, and Project Hope. The announcement offered hope. During that same briefing, the Los Angeles District Attorney shared that prior records indicated she had previously been identified as someone in need of protection due to concerning influences around her. The public understanding shifted. She was not simply a runaway teen making reckless choices. She was vulnerable, and she had been known to be vulnerable. On January 27th, her funeral took place. Family and friends gathered to remember her. After the service, her father spoke publicly. "We try to be there whenever we can, and I know I could have done better. Losing a child is like losing a piece of yourself," he said. His words reflected grief and regret, emotions that do not follow a clean timeline. In the weeks that followed, media coverage gradually declined. The investigation continued, but no arrests were announced. In April 2022, the reward was increased to $120,000 in hopes of generating new leads. Still, no public identification of a suspect emerged. 1 year later, a press conference was held to honor her memory and renew calls for information. As of February 2026, the case remains unsolved. More than 4 years have passed without an arrest. 16 years old, her life had already been shaped by repeated loss: the death of a brother, the near loss of her mother, the deaths of grandparents, instability layered over adolescence. Her story raises difficult questions about vulnerability, online exploitation, and the gaps that exist when systems meant to protect young people fail to act quickly enough. But it also remains something simpler. A teenage girl left her father's workplace after a hug. She never came home. Someone transported her body and left her on a freeway, and that person has not been publicly identified. Her bedroom was left untouched. Her social media went silent. And a father is still waiting for answers. Thanks for watching Gridline Crimes.